The Wolseley Gambit. The gray afternoon light had faded to dusk by the time Alex finally stirred from Marcus's chest. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table, a reminder she'd set hours ago. Tuesday, 6 a.m. The Wolseley lunch was in 7 hours. She extracted herself carefully from Marcus's embrace, his breathing deep and even in sleep. The exhaustion of the past weeks had finally caught up with him. His face, relaxed in sleep, showed none of the tension that had lined it since Rebecca's ultimatum arrived. The bruises from Emma's attack had faded to yellow-green shadows along his jaw. Alex padded to the kitchen, filling the kettle with practiced quiet. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, London glittered in the early morning darkness. The Thames, a ribbon of reflected light. The city already stirring despite the hour. Somewhere out there, Rebecca Chen was sleeping, confident in her victory. Confident that Alex would arrive at the Wolseley broken and defeated. She would be disappointed. The kettle clicked off. Alex poured water over Earl Grey, watching the steam rise in delicate spirals. Her reflection in the window looked harder than it had 3 weeks ago. Emma's betrayal had carved something away, but Rebecca's calculated cruelty had forged what remained into something sharper. "You're up early," Alex turned. Marcus stood in the doorway, wearing only boxer briefs, his hair disheveled from sleep. Even exhausted and bruised, he was beautiful. All lean muscle and warm skin, the kind of body that came from swimming laps rather than gym vanity. The sight of him made her chest tighten with something that felt dangerously close to the love he'd confessed. "Couldn't sleep," she admitted. "Too much thinking." He crossed to her, arms sliding around her waist from behind. His chin rested on her shoulder, both of them reflected in the window glass, a portrait of intimacy that 3 months ago would have terrified her. Second thoughts about lunch? No. Alex leaned back into his warmth. Just running scenarios. Rebecca's smart. She'll be looking for weakness, for leverage. I need to give her what she expects while gathering information we can use. The art of appearing weak when you're strong. Marcus's lips brushed her neck. Sun Tzu would approve. Sun Tzu never faced a vindictive cybersecurity expert with 2 years of surveillance data and a grudge. But Alex smiled despite herself. Though I doubt his enemies had access to professional-grade malware either. Marcus turned her to face him, his expression serious. "Alex, if this gets too dangerous, it's already dangerous." She cupped his face, thumb tracing the fading bruise. "Rebecca made it dangerous when she decided I was responsible for her heartbreak. When she manipulated Emma into kidnapping you. When she threatened to destroy both our careers over a weekend in Edinburgh that meant nothing to you." It didn't mean nothing. His voice was quiet. She was brilliant, funny. We had an amazing weekend, but I wasn't looking for a relationship then. He paused, choosing words carefully. I was still running from anything that felt real. She wanted more. I couldn't give it. So I did what I always did. I disappeared. And she's been collecting evidence of your disappearing act ever since. Alex's legal mind cataloged the implications. 2 years of surveillance, photos of you with other women, building a case like a prosecutor preparing for trial. Until she saw us together at Sophie and Natasha's engagement party. Marcus's jaw tightened. Then it became personal. Then it became about revenge. Alex's phone buzzed. Richard Morrison. Strategy session at Chambers, 7 a.m. Found something on RC's employment history. Bring Marcus if he's available. She showed Marcus the text. He nodded. I'll call the hospital. Tell them I need the morning. You're supposed to be recovering. I'm fine. He kissed her forehead. And I'm not letting you face this alone. We're in this together, remember? The words echoed his declaration after Emma's arrest. We're in this together. It should have frightened her, the vulnerability, the dependence, the risk of losing someone who mattered. Instead, it steadied her, made her stronger. Together, she agreed. Now go shower. You smell like sleep and desperation. He laughed, the sound warming something cold in her chest. Romantic as always, Morrison. Morrison and Blackwood's third-floor conference room was already occupied when Alex and Marcus arrived at 7. Richard sat at the head of the mahogany table, surrounded by file folders and his laptop. He looked like he hadn't slept. Shirt rumpled, tie loosened, silver hair standing in peaks where he'd run his hands through it. "Coffee's fresh," he said without preamble, gesturing to the carafe. "You'll want it for this." Alex poured 2 cups while Marcus took the seat beside hers. Richard watched them with the expression he wore in court when a witness revealed something unexpected. Calculating, reassessing. "You told him," Richard observed. "Everything," Alex confirmed. "Rebecca's ultimatum, the photos, the Thursday deadline. He deserved to know what he's caught in the middle of." "Good." Richard pulled a file toward him. "Because what I found changes everything." He spread documents across the table. Employment records, LinkedIn profiles, professional certifications. At the center was a photograph of Rebecca Chen from her company website. Sleek black hair, professional smile, the kind of polished competence that inspired confidence. Rebecca Chen, Richard began, 31 years old, senior cybersecurity analyst at Sentinel Systems. Impressive resume. Oxford for undergraduate computer science, master's from Imperial College London, certifications in ethical hacking and digital forensics. She's consulted for the Home Office, advised the Financial Conduct Authority on data protection, and has security clearance that would make MI5 jealous. Marcus leaned forward. So she has the skills and access to do everything she's threatened. More than that, Richard tapped another document. She has motive beyond your Edinburgh weekend. 3 years ago, Rebecca was engaged to a barrister named James Hartley. The engagement ended abruptly when Hartley left her for a colleague, a younger woman he'd been mentoring. The breakup was ugly. Hartley got a restraining order after Rebecca allegedly hacked his email and sent compromising messages to his new girlfriend's family. Alex's legal mind clicked into gear. Allegedly? The case never went to trial. Hartley dropped the restraining order request after Rebecca's lawyers argued lack of evidence. But the pattern? Richard met her eyes. The pattern is identical. Professional surveillance, targeting the new relationship, using collected data as leverage. She's done this before. The realization settled cold in Alex's stomach. This isn't about Marcus specifically. It's about anyone who she perceives as rejecting her. Exactly. Richard pulled up another file. After the Hartley incident, Rebecca took a 6-month sabbatical, traveled to Edinburgh, coincidentally, where she attended a cybersecurity conference, the same conference where Marcus was speaking on medical data security. Jesus, Marcus rubbed his face. So our weekend wasn't chance. She targeted me deliberately. Possibly. Richard's expression was grim. Or you were just convenient. Either way, when you didn't pursue a relationship, you became another man who rejected her. And when she saw you with Alex at the engagement party, she decided to destroy us both. Alex's voice was flat, using Emma as her weapon while maintaining plausible deniability. Which brings us to the question, Richard said. What do we do about it? Alex checked her watch, 7:43 a.m. 5 hours and 17 minutes until she faced Rebecca across white tablecloths and crystal stemware, playing the role of defeated rival while gathering ammunition. I go to lunch, she said. I let Rebecca think she's winning, and I record every word. Marcus's hand found hers under the table, while Richard and I dig into Rebecca's background. Find the weakness she's hiding. Everyone has one, Richard agreed. Even brilliant sociopaths with security clearances. The question is whether we find it before Thursday's deadline. Alex's phone buzzed. Sophie Chen. Natasha and I want to help. Whatever you need. Rebecca is my cousin, but what she's doing is wrong. Please let us in. She showed the message to Richard and Marcus. The older man's expression softened slightly. Sophie's cybersecurity expertise could be invaluable, he said, and Natasha's PR skills might help us control the narrative if Rebecca releases those photos. But they're Rebecca's family, Marcus pointed out. If she finds out they're helping us, she'll escalate. Alex finished the thought. But we're running out of time. We need every advantage. She typed a response. Meet at Marcus's flat, 3 p.m. I'll explain everything then, thank you. The reply came instantly. We're here for you. Always. Alex's throat tightened. 3 months ago, she would have faced this alone, isolated by pride and fear, convinced that vulnerability equaled weakness. Emma's betrayal had shattered that delusion. Rebecca's threats had forced her to accept what she'd been denying for years. She needed people. She needed help. She needed Marcus. All right, Richard said, gathering his files. Alex lunches with Rebecca at 1. Marcus and I work the background research. Sophie and Natasha join us this afternoon to coordinate strategy. We have 67 hours to find Rebecca's weakness and neutralize her leverage. And if we can't? Marcus's voice was steady, but Alex heard the fear beneath. Then I face the bar standards board with evidence of my past promiscuity, he said quietly. And you face professional ruin for a relationship that threatened someone's delusions. No. Alex's voice was steel. That's not how this ends. Rebecca Chen made a mistake when she assumed I'd break under pressure. When she thought threatening the people I love would make me surrender. She stood, Marcus rising with her. She's about to learn that I don't break. I fight, and I win. Richard smiled. The expression he wore when opposing counsel realized they'd underestimated Morrison and Blackwood. That's my girl. Now go prepare for lunch. And Alex? He met her eyes. Don't let her see your fear. Show her the barrister who destroys witnesses on cross-examination. Show her why you're the best advocate in London. I will. Alex squeezed Marcus's hand once, drawing strength from his presence. And when this is over, Rebecca Chen will wish she'd never heard my name. The Wolseley occupied a corner of Piccadilly like a jewel in a crown, all Art Deco elegance and old-world glamour, the kind of restaurant where power lunches decided the fate of companies and careers. Alex arrived at 12:55 p.m., 5 minutes early, wearing her armor, a charcoal suit from Rice, silk blouse the color of burgundy wine, heels that added 3 inches to her height and clicked with authority on marble floors. The maitre d' recognized her. She'd lunched here with Richard dozens of times, celebrating case victories and strategizing appeals. Ms. Morrison, your guest has already arrived. Of course she had. Rebecca would want the psychological advantage of being settled, comfortable, in control when Alex arrived. The table was in the center of the main dining room, maximum visibility, ensuring their conversation would be conducted in whispers beneath the clatter of silverware and murmur of deal-making. Rebecca sat with her back to the wall, a position that let her see the entire room. She wore cream silk and pearls, her hair swept into a chignon that belonged in a Vogue editorial. She looked like success incarnate. She looked like someone who'd already won. Alexandra. Rebecca's smile was warm, genuine, the expression of a friend greeting a confidant. Thank you for coming. I know this must be difficult. Alex slid into her seat, handbag positioned carefully to ensure the recording app on her phone captured everything. Rebecca, you look well. I try. Rebecca poured water from a crystal carafe. Though I imagine I look better than you've been sleeping. 67 hours is such a short time to make an impossible decision. The waiter appeared. Alex ordered the Dover sole without looking at the menu. She'd eaten here enough to have favorites. Rebecca requested the lobster salad, then waited until they were alone again. I'll be honest, Rebecca said, leaning forward slightly. I didn't expect you to come. I thought you'd send Marcus to plead your case, or perhaps Richard Morrison with his stern father routine and threats of legal action. I don't hide behind other people. Alex met her eyes steadily. If you have something to say to me, say it. Direct. I appreciate that. Rebecca's smile sharpened. Very well. I want you to understand why I'm doing this. Why I spent 2 years collecting evidence. Why I manipulated Emma Wright into becoming my weapon. You're in love with Marcus. Alex kept her voice neutral, conversational. He spent a weekend with you in Edinburgh 3 years ago, then disappeared. You've been punishing him ever since. No. Rebecca's expression hardened. I've been punishing women like you, women who waltz into men's lives and take what others have earned, women who are too blind to see the damage they cause. Alex felt the recording app capturing every word. I didn't take Marcus from you. You never had him. Didn't I? Rebecca's laugh was bitter. We spent 3 days together. 3 perfect days where he was present, engaged, real. He told me about his childhood, his parents' divorce, his fear of becoming his father. He held me like I mattered. Then Monday morning came and he was gone. No calls, no texts, just nothing. So you decided to destroy his life. Alex's tone remained level, and mine for having the audacity to date him. I decided to make you both understand what rejection feels like. Rebecca's voice dropped. To watch something you want slip away while you're powerless to stop it. To know that someone else controls your future, your reputation, everything you've built. The waiter delivered their meals. Alex waited until he'd gone before responding. And Emma? She's sitting in a cell facing years in prison because you manipulated her obsession with Marcus. How does that fit your narrative of justified revenge? Emma made her own choices. Rebecca's expression was cold. I simply provided opportunities, information about building security, suggestions about how to access confidential files. She did the rest herself. You used her mental illness as a weapon. Alex cut into her soul with surgical precision. You exploited someone who needed help, turned her into a criminal, then let her take all the blame while you remained safely anonymous. She was already unstable, Rebecca shrugged. I just accelerated the inevitable. Alex's phone buzzed in her bag, a text from Marcus. She ignored it, maintaining eye contact with Rebecca. So what happens now? Alex asked. I have until Thursday noon to convince Marcus to publicly end our relationship. If I succeed, you keep your photos private. If I fail, you destroy both our careers. Is that the plan? That's the plan, Rebecca smiled. Though I'm curious, will you tell him? Will you explain that his past promiscuity is about to become public knowledge? Or will you just disappear, the way he disappeared from my life? The cruelty was breathtaking. The calculation behind it even more so. Rebecca had constructed a psychological trap with no escape. Either Alex betrayed Marcus by leaving without explanation, or she destroyed him by staying. I'll tell him, Alex said quietly, because unlike you, I don't believe in using people's past against them. I don't believe in punishing someone for not loving me the way I wanted. Rebecca's expression flickered, something dark crossing her features. Noble, but ultimately futile. Those photos exist, Alexandra? They're time-stamped, geotagged, completely authentic. 2 years of Marcus Ashford working his way through London's dating pool like a man allergic to commitment. The tabloids will love it. Playboy surgeon's secret life, or some such headline. His hospital will be mortified. His patients will question his judgment. His career will never recover. And mine? Alex kept her voice steady. What do I lose in your scenario? Everything. Rebecca's smile was genuine now, pleased. The Bar Standards Board will investigate your relationship with a client's opposing counsel. Morrison and Blackwood will face questions about professional ethics. Your reputation as London's most brilliant young barrister will be tarnished by association with scandal. Unless I walk away. Unless you walk away. Rebecca raised her water glass in a mock toast. Simple, really. You sacrifice your relationship. Marcus keeps his reputation. And I get to watch you suffer the way I suffered. Everyone wins. Except you, of course. Alex's phone buzzed again. This time she checked it. Marcus. Richard found something. Call when you can. She looked up at Rebecca, seeing clearly for the first time the woman beneath the polished exterior. Not a mastermind, not a genius, just someone broken by rejection who'd spent years turning pain into vengeance. I have a counter-proposal, Alex said quietly. Rebecca's eyebrows rose. I'm listening. You delete the photos, you leave Marcus and me alone, and I don't share what I know about James Hartley. The color drained from Rebecca's face. What? James Hartley, your ex-fiancé. The restraining order he filed 3 years ago after you hacked his email and terrorized his new girlfriend. Alex's voice was calm, professional, the tone she used when cross-examining hostile witnesses. The case that never went to trial because your lawyers convinced Hartley that you'd destroy his career if he pursued it. Rebecca's hand trembled slightly around her water glass. You can't prove. I can prove you have a pattern. Alex leaned forward. I can prove that you've done this before, that Marcus isn't your first victim, just your most recent. And I can ensure that every detail of the Hartley case becomes public knowledge if you release those photos. You're bluffing. Am I? Alex smiled, the expression that made opposing counsel nervous. Test me, Rebecca. Release the photos. Destroy Marcus's reputation. And watch what happens when I file a civil suit for harassment, stalking, and conspiracy. Watch what happens when I subpoena your employment records, your communications, your entire digital footprint. Watch what happens when Sophie and Natasha testify about your behavior. Rebecca's expression was venomous now. Sophie would never. Sophie already offered to help. Alex's voice was gentle, almost pitying. Your cousin, the woman you've known since childhood, chose to stand with me instead of you. Because what you're doing is wrong, Rebecca, and somewhere beneath the anger and pain, you know it. Silence stretched between them. Around the dining room, business continued. Deals made, alliances formed, the machinery of power turning smoothly. But at their table, something shifted. "You don't understand," Rebecca said finally, her voice raw. "You don't know what it's like to be invisible, to give everything to someone and have them look through you like you're nothing." "You're right." Alex's anger softened slightly. "I don't know what that's like, but I know what it's like to be afraid of vulnerability, to protect yourself by keeping people at arm's length, to mistake isolation for strength." She stood, leaving her meal half finished. "You have until Thursday noon, Rebecca, the same deadline you gave me. Delete the photos or face the consequences. Your choice." Rebecca looked up at her, mascara smudging slightly at the corners of her eyes. "And if I choose wrong, then we both lose," Alex said quietly. "And Emma Wright will have company in her cell. Think about it." She walked out of the Wolseley into October sunshine, her phone already dialing Marcus. "How did it go?" he answered immediately. "I gave her an ultimatum." Alex flagged a taxi. "And Richard found something on Hartley?" "Better." Marcus's voice carried grim satisfaction. "He found Hartley himself. The ex-fiancé is willing to testify about Rebecca's harassment. Apparently, she's been stalking his new wife for 3 years." Alex slid into the taxi, giving Marcus's address. "Then we have leverage." "We have leverage," Marcus agreed, "and Rebecca has 44 hours to decide if her revenge is worth prison." Alex closed her eyes, exhaustion crashing over her. "Will she delete the photos?" "I don't know." Marcus's voice was honest. "But whatever happens, we face it together. Remember?" "Together," Alex echoed. "I'll be there in 20 minutes." She ended the call, watching London blur past the taxi windows. Somewhere in the city, Rebecca Chen was making a choice. Somewhere, Sophie and Natasha were preparing to stand against family for friendship. Somewhere, Richard Morrison was building a legal case that would protect them all. And somewhere, in a Mayfair flat with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Thames, Marcus Ashford was waiting for her. 44 hours. Less than 2 days to discover if Rebecca Chen would choose redemption or revenge. Less than 2 days to learn if love was stronger than vengeance. Alex Morrison settled back in her seat, feeling the recording app's weight in her handbag, evidence of Rebecca's confession, insurance against Thursday's deadline. She'd walked into the Wolseley expecting to play the victim. She'd walked out holding all the cards. Rebecca Chen had made a critical mistake. She'd assumed Alex would break under pressure. She'd forgotten that the best barristers don't break. They fight, and they win. The taxi turned onto Marcus's street. Alex paid the driver, stepped onto the pavement, looked up at the building where Marcus waited, where her friends would gather, where they would plan their final move against Rebecca's threats. 44 hours until Thursday noon. 44 hours to end this. She walked through the lobby, pressed the button for the 4th floor, felt her phone buzz with a message from an unknown number. "You think you've won. You haven't. Thursday noon, Alexandra. Watch what happens when you refuse to learn your lesson." Alex deleted the message without responding. Rebecca could send all the threats she wanted. The game had changed. The victim had become the hunter, and the hunter always won. The lift doors opened. Marcus stood in his doorway, concern etched across his features. Alex walked into his arms, let him hold her, felt his heartbeat steady against her cheek. "It's going to be okay," he murmured into her hair. "I know," Alex said, and meant it. 44 hours. They could do this. Together.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.